Welcome to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania this afternoon. And Big East Conference basketball presented by PNC Bank. 5 games on the Big East schedule today. This is game number 5. First of 2 meetings this year between DePaul and the Panthers. And with the upsets already, Syracuse lost, Louisville lost. Who knows, by the time this day's over, Pittsburgh could be in 3rd place all by themselves. We welcome all of you to the Peterson Event Center, along with former Villanova great John Celestin. I'm John Sanders. Upsets, that's the norm in this conference.
That's what this conference is all about. You saw the upsets today. Obviously, if Pittsburgh gets a win, they could move into 3rd place. This is why I love the Big East Conference. Anything can happen, John.
And the one-on-one for this afternoon. We will see what happens in our basketball game. One-on-one, check it out.
Yeah, it's 2 contrasting styles, John. DePaul, obviously, they're going to try to pick up the pace. They're going to try to cause some turnovers. On the other side, Pitt is the best team in the country with the assist-to-turnover ratio. It's going to be interesting to see this matchup.
A couple of outstanding individual players. Let's talk with Cleveland Melvin first.
Yeah, Melvin's a very quick face-up type of guy. He's 5th in the conference in scoring and rebounding. And on the other side, Lamar Patterson really shoots the 3-point shot well. He's 39%. He's Pitt's best guy from downtown.
Pittsburgh Panthers trying to post their 4th straight win, and of course DePaul trying to avoid a 4th straight loss. Coming up at halftime, we're going to take you back 25 years to the most famous dunk in Pittsburgh basketball history.
Send it in, Jerome! Send it in, Jerome! Send it in, Jerome!
The 2013 Big East Championship, presented by American Eagle Outfitters, will be held March 12th through 16th at Madison Square Garden in New York City, where teams will be competing for the Big East title. Want to
Today's Big East basketball game is brought to you by PNC Bank for the achiever in you. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Inside the Peterson Event Center, the zoo is in place, set for a big Saturday afternoon of basketball. Let's take a look at the visiting coach first, Oliver Purnell at the helm.
And Oliver Purnell, obviously, a great career at Clemson, and now trying to get it done here at DePaul.
And a guy who has gotten it done for now 10 seasons is Jamie Dixon. Boy, what a great job, what great success they've had while he's been here.
Dixon, 4 different Coach of the Year awards over the past 3 seasons, 4-time National Coach of the Year.
Here are the starters now for the Blue Demons: Young, McKinney, Crockett, Kirk, and Melvin, trying to snap that 4-game losing streak and trying to move up in the always changing Big East Conference standings. Pittsburgh Panthers looking for win number 4 in a row. Robinson is a freshman. So is Steven Adams, Woodall, Patterson, and Zana. And Zana's the guy they'd like to get going today.
Yeah, Zana has really struggled scoring the basketball over the past couple of games. He is Pitt's leading scorer still. So they want to make sure they establish him, John, early in this ballgame.
That loss last year came in Chicago, and because of it, Melvin had 20, Young had 26. So that was the tandem that put the loss on Pittsburgh as the Panthers struggled last season. Our referee this afternoon is Pat Driscoll. John Gaffney and Rob Riley are the umpires. It'll be Rob Riley to handle the opening toss. Blue Demons have no fewer than 4 road uniforms. They're wearing the blue ones here this afternoon, trimmed in blue and white and a little stripe of red. They also have a complete set of warm-up uniforms that they wear before the game.
The perks you get, John, in the Big East these days makes me kind of jealous.
You didn't have that, John. You're saying, huh? Panthers will control. We are underway here at the Peterson Event Center. been a very tough place for a lot of teams to play, but of late, the Panthers have had their problems here at home. Already a couple of conference losses here. Zana to Patterson. They go over the top to Adams, and he finishes.
And Adams does a great job with the seal. That's just a little high-low action. A very impressive freshman. Very skilled, can face up, can pass, can defend.
McKinney gives it up. Zana with a steal. Draws the foul, cannot finish the play.
Defensively, when you look at Pittsburgh Panthers, defense and rebounding have been their staples over the past few years. And how about the big fella right there? He wants to take it a little coast to coast. Getting out in the passing lanes, Mr. Zana out of Nigeria.
And the foul came before the shot, so the Panthers with a 2-0 lead will inbound.
Look for DePaul to switch up the defense. They'll come out, give you a little 2-2-1 full court pressure, a little diamond press. They can fall back into their 2-3 zone, John. Sometimes they'll go man-to-man, a little token pressure.
Woodall with some penetration, kicks it out. Patterson from outside, buries it. It's a 2.
And Patterson's been really scoring the basketball the past couple of games. 17 against Providence, 14 against UConn. They need him to be a consistent scorer for them, John.
Young is cut off by Adams. From the corner, that one rims off. Adams got a piece of it and finally pulls in the rebound. 4-0 start for Pitt. The freshman Robinson comes back. 3 won't go.
This is going to be about pace, John, this game. Which team can dictate that pace? As you see the quick shot by DePaul, but this is the way they will play. They'll look to get easy opportunities at the basket. Pittsburgh will be more deliberate and try to grind it out.
Well, that was a point-blank miss that time for the Blue Demons. Robinson had the rebound. And now Patterson keeps his dribble. He's an excellent passer as well. People overlook that sometimes.
Yeah. Very solid with the basketball, as is most of the Pittsburgh Panthers. They're #1 in the country in assist-to-turnover ratio. They won't take chances.
Woodall, shot clock is at 8 as he launches a 3 in and out. Rebound picked up and brought out by the Blue Demons. That's a blocking foul. Count the basket. Good job by McKinney. He got back in a hurry.
You're seeing the differences, the contrasting styles. As McKinney, he'll push it, and he wants to get an easy one. He wants to get it up quick and score the basketball. Defensively, he's important for them. And right there, showing you he wants to chip in on the offensive end as well.
You know, you watch DePaul play, there's nothing timid about them on either end of the court, defense or offense.
No. They're the highest scoring team in the Big East Conference, but a lot of that is because of the pace that they play at.
But they also give up the most points in the conference, so it's not necessarily a good contrast. 3-point play completed by McKinney.
See here at DePaul, they'll pick up with that full court pressure. Sometimes it'll be man-to-man. Right now, looking like a little 2-2-1 full court. Then they'll go back to their 2-3 zone.
Well, Purnell telling us before the game they have 6 or 7 different full court defenses. Patterson with a block and a foul.
That is what DePaul wants to do. You know, and speaking to Coach Purnell, and watch right here, Young will get his hand right in the passing lane, and he's off to the races. And they'll try to create things and score off of those turnovers. But in talking to Coach Purnell, I asked him, I said, how do you get a team like the Pittsburgh Panthers to turn the basketball over, being that they're so solid with the basketball? He says, hey, we don't worry about what other teams do. We know what we do, and we want them to worry about how we can change the game on a defensive end.
So let's see how they do against our pressure, because it's not like everybody else.
Yeah.
Second opportunity for Young. Missed them both. Zana with a rebound. Still a 4-3 lead for the Pittsburgh Panthers. Team that's lost only 18 games in this building. Zana from the corner, bending, off. And is tracked down by the Blue Demons. Here's Young with some penetration. Kicks it out for three on the way and good, and a lead for the Blue Demons.
And again, they won't be shy, as you see Kirk on the defensive end. He gets it done, showing you his range as well from deep.
Ball out of bounds, belongs to DePaul as Orel Klahar checks into the lineup. Junior college transfer who's now a senior.
And John, early on in this ball game, the havoc, which we spoke of in the open, is happening right now, and I think that's in DePaul's favor. They want to make this game very ugly. Pittsburgh wants to play a little more composed.
Melvin inside, spins it up, no good. Adams has the rebound. Into the hands of Woodall. Three from long range is good. Off the bench and banging it home is Durant and Johnson.
And Johnson will not be shy. That's a little travel right there is going to be called.
There was Morgan, and that's a guy they'd like to get going. Moses coming in with 97 career three-pointers, but he has not been the same player that he was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, you know what you can get from DePaul in their 1-2 punch of Young and Melvin, but they need some other pieces, some other people to step up.
Ziegler, another transfer, has it rejected as he goes along the baseline. Panthers will keep it. We played almost 4 minutes of this opening half along with John Celestin. I'm John Sanders. And who knows what's going to happen in this conference, huh?
I tell you what, I was very surprised today as you see the three-point shot taken by Johnson. Villanova, how about them? 2 in a row, knocking down.
Young puts it up and in. He took the bump, didn't get the foul, but he got the basket. And once again, it's the Blue Demons out on top.
And Young can fill it up. He's 7th in the conference in scoring the basketball as well. He'll set the table, but he can also push it and look for his own shot.
And defensive pressure also takes 15 seconds off the shot clock. Short jumper from the side, a little strong, and it's pulled down. Back comes Young, keeps his dribble. Loose for the moment, but the Blue Demons control. Pitt only one of his last 7, and that's the reason the Blue Demons with the ball have the lead. Turnaround, no good. Weak side scramble. Adams comes away with it for Pittsburgh. Long lead to Zana, knocked away by Klahar. Here comes DePaul. Panthers with their 3rd turnover already. That's going to be short on the 3, and Adams still another rebound. He is making his presence felt in the defensive rebounding category. There was a horn along the sideline. I'm not sure for what. And Pat Driscoll's going to try to straighten it out as both teams will head to their benches. 8-7. We mentioned the upsets. We'll give you some details. Louisville, Syracuse losers today. We come back, 15-15 to play. A problem with the shot clock, so they took 3 seconds off, and John Gaffney came over and said, this John says there's 3 seconds off that shot clock.
Lots of Johns, but even the pressure from DePaul bothering the sideline.
Well,
Pittsburgh, huh?
We talked about the upsets today, and there were a couple early on, with Villanova going to overtime to defeat number 3 Syracuse, and the Orange their first loss in conference play. 75-71 was the final there, and Georgetown handing Louisville still another loss. That's a team that they've lost 3 straight now. They were number 1 in the country.
That is unbelievable, but that tells you how strong the Big East Conference is, as you see another steal by DePaul.
Lahar got it inside, and he gives it back. Here's Johnson for the slam.
And you know, John, I like Johnson. You know, I saw him play against Villanova. He is a freshman who is unafraid at the moment. Doesn't mind taking shots. Very confident. Steps.
Traveling violation, and that's certainly one of the things that Oliver talked to us about. He said we have to take care of the basketball. We can't turn it over.
Yeah, you talk about DePaul forcing turnovers. Well, DePaul on the other side has to be efficient with the basketball. Sometimes very tough, John, when you're playing at such a frenetic pace. As you see another steal by DePaul.
And the basket off that steal. A good job to finish the play by Moses Morgan. He missed a 3 earlier. He gets the 2, and that was almost a turnover there. Panthers are being bothered. Ziegler settles, and Woodall has it. Johnson for 3. Nice follow and a foul. A really good follow by Ziegler, who was in the right spot at the right time. Count the basket.
You'll see here Ziegler, the transfer out of Central Michigan, as Johnson takes that one. He'll come flying into your screen. Pittsburgh over the years, always one of the better offensive rebounding teams in the conference.
Panthers have been up early. They were up 4-0. A couple of leads, short leads for DePaul. Lahar heads back to the bench as Young returns. We've had 6 lead changes in the first 6 minutes of this game.
We're going to keep an eye on this pace, John. You talk about Pittsburgh being the best in the country in assist-to-turnover ratio. But when you're playing against a team like DePaul, it is just very difficult not to play at that pace, because you have opportunities in the break and you have to attack, which many coaches teach you, but you have to attack with care.
That's simply a bad pass that time, thrown out of bounds by Moses Morgan. So the Panthers get a break, get the ball back, up by 2, 14-11 to play first half. You're watching Big East basketball from the Peterson Event Center. We're on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh. Ziegler gets it all the way to the baseline with the feed, and finishing the shot is another one of the bench players, J.J. Moore, and they've had a really good bench this year. Blue Demons now have turned it over 4 of their last 6 possessions. And that's going to be a bumping foul on the Panthers. Go on Ziegler. Ziegler was playing for his dad, and then after his dad lost his job, he came to Pittsburgh.
And I think that's not a good idea, but a good rule where he could transfer and not have to sit out a year. And Ziegler, out of high school, he was very highly acclaimed. Had offers from Duke, Michigan, Michigan State.
Cameron Wright now has checked into the Panther lineup. He had too many jerseys on. It took him a few extra seconds to get ready to come in the game.
Maybe that shooting jersey that they have been awarded.
Got some action down along the baseline. Foul is on Johnson. That's his first.
As you get a look at the Oakland Zoo on the sideline, I think one of the best places to watch a Big East basketball game, John, in the conference. Students are right behind you, right on top of you.
Well, after the block, the foul is called on the Blue Demons. He'll go against Clemens. That is his second foul, and he'll immediately head to the bench. Remember, the Panthers dressed only 10 players, and that's the fewest that they've had available for Jamie in his 10 years here at Pittsburgh.
You say only 10, but that's a lot of guys when you're playing against the pressure. You know, DePaul wants to wear you down, but when you play 10 guys in legitimate minutes, you see another steal.
Beautiful anticipation that time by Young. He'll shoot the jumper, bending off. Weak side scramble for the rebound, blocked from behind by Taylor. Robinson, the freshman, moves it ahead. There's a baseline line drive jumper, and Johnson's already scored 7 points.
Johnson's solid. He's going to be a great player in this conference. Gets a little more maturity, some more minutes.
Panthers have their biggest lead of the half. Three-pointer on the way, bending off the front of the iron, and there's Taylor again. Now Robinson, the freshman. Foul will go on Crockett. Jamie will pick up his first. Team fouls are even at this point, 4 apiece. Johnson back to the Panther bench. Back on is Lamar Patterson. And one of the reasons Patterson is playing better is because of Duran Johnson pushing him in practice every day.
Yeah, you always have to have guys that are going to make you a better player. You know, I'm not a fan of going to a school where you're just going to be given positions and nobody's going to be brought in to kind of light a fire underneath you. You need that competition.
Robinson fights his way inside, missed the shot. Loose ball tracked down by Robinson. Nice. Underneath feed to Taylor, no good. Weak side rebound, put back by Patterson. 8-point Panther edge, biggest of the afternoon. A 9-0 Pittsburgh run. That'll be an offensive foul.
And a little bit out of control right there by Young. And they're going to call a block.
I think
he was in the circle. I was thinking that, John, before it was called, he was kind of deep. And that little circle underneath, I think you have to have both feet outside of that circle to be able to take a charge. And we'll get another look at it right here.
You also need to be the primary defender in there. And you can see the guy into the circle was not the primary defender.
Right. Very easy to call that one.
And they're going to double check it on the monitor, but I think they're going to see, John, what you just saw.
Yeah, his entire right foot was inside the circle, as you see right here. He'll go baseline, Young, and then you'll see right here his foot still inside the circle.
So the foul goes on Patterson.
Yeah, you'll see right here, his foot is inside the circle. This is definitely a block. Definitely. Great job by the truck. But I think, you know, when they implemented this rule, I think this is a good rule because when you're that deep under the basket, you know, an offensive player really is at a disadvantage if you can take a charge that deep.
So it's number 2 on Patterson. As the officials have sorted it out, double-checked the monitor. So Patterson picks up number 2. 8-point lead. We played 8 minutes of this opening half. Big East basketball from the Peterson Event Center. Along with John Celestin, I'm John Sanders. Great to have you along on this Saturday afternoon. Young missed his first 2. Hits that one.
And Young, second team, all Big East preseason, I should say. All Big East Conference selection this year. See right there, the miss.
And somebody in the lane too soon. We'll get one more shot here. So Young is not finished at the foul line with 12 minutes to play in the opening half. They have cut off that 9-0 Panther run with 2 from the free throw line. That gives Young a total of 4 points on the afternoon.
And you see the pressure switching up now. DePaul, they started out in a 2-2-1, John, and now they go to their diamond pressure. A 1-2-1-1 full court trap. And when you watch tape of DePaul, sometimes it's disguised. You can't tell what type of pressure they are in. It makes it even more effective.
Morgan got a hand on that one. We will go to a break. Duran Johnson off the bench, getting a good feed and an outstanding finish. Eight minutes gone. Right now it's a 6-point Panther lead. As we come back to the Pete, let's take a look at our Big East leaders, brought to you by PNC for the achiever in you. And you can see, you talked about it from a team standpoint, and that's the reason that the three guys right there registering for Pitt.
I mean, if you have one guy, you know, leading the country in that category, that's good. But for Pitt to have three guys that take care of the basketball, that is really saying something. That's really saying something about the way they coach and the discipline that they have on the offensive end.
And you see the balance by Melvin. You also talked about him being number 5 in the Big East in both rebounding and scoring. Right with it. And remember, the Panthers will use all 10 of the guys who are in uniform here this afternoon. Right on a drive, scoops and scores.
And Wright going right to the rim, undeterred.
Kirk tries to set the screen. That's a 3 on the way. Comes up short. Offensive rebound, though, for the Blue Demons. Turnaround is up, bending off, and a rebound to Robinson.
Tough shot right there.
6 different Panthers have scored in this game so far. Wide open 3 from the corner, no good. Moore up with a follow, that's no good. Zana with a miss and draws the foul. Excuse me, that was Taylor with the miss.
And there you see the Pittsburgh Panthers doing what they do best over the years, and that's attack the glass. Always a blue-collar type of team in a blue-collar type of city, Pittsburgh. But you have to make sure you keep them off the glass. They're 3rd in the conference in rebounding margin.
Now Taylor at 61% from the line, and in Big East play, shooting foul shots has been a problem for Pittsburgh. One of the reasons some of these games have gotten close at the end. They are 13th in the league in Big East standings in terms of free throw percentage. We talked about the rebound margin, and it is huge so far this afternoon, 17-8. But the other thing you have to do, I think, at this point in the season, as we move deep into the conference schedule, you look a little more closely at the conference stats as opposed to the total season stats.
Because conference stats really tell you more about what a team is. Obviously, sometimes in the beginning of the season, playing teams of lesser talent. This is what it's all about. This is when it gets real.
Wide open look for Darrell McDonald. Gets his first basket. Panthers lead by 8. They've been up by as many as 10, and they'll go up even more as J.J. Moore hits the three-pointer. 11-point lead, biggest of the half. Another thing, if you watch the Panthers play defense, they're very good at hedging. You'll see the big man out to cut off the guards.
Yeah, they do a great job in the half-court defense. They also do a great job with the help and recover. If you get by one guy, they build a wall, and they have somebody on the backside ready to rotate over.
Woodall will check back in. Melvin gets a rest now for the Blue Demons. Returning is Montre Clemens to the lineup. 16-4 Panther run. Up now by 11. Blue Demons almost turn it over again. Instead, it's a wide open three that's short. Wright with a rebound. This is Adams. Goes inside. Count the basket. Kirk will pick up the foul.
And Adams shows you the skill. Preseason Big East Rookie of the Year. Hasn't had phenomenal numbers, but he has the skill level, as you see it right there. He can do it on the defensive end. Nice little jump hook. When he gets space and the double doesn't come, he can do that.
And Adams hits a free throw, which is not his norm. He shoots about 70% from the line in practice and 34% in the games. So 8 different Panthers have scored. They're up by 14. Crockett, coming off that 19-point game a week ago against St. John's, has not scored this afternoon. Young comes up short.
Tough shot.
Wright the rebound, pushes it ahead that time to Johnson. More spots for three.
You know, DePaul got lucky right there. Sometimes when you take tough shots, John, as Young takes that one to the basket, tough shots can almost be like a turnover in the game, especially when you're trying to get back in a ball game. You're down 28-14. Obviously, DePaul wants to push it and make it a frenetic pace, but there must be a time when you have to take high percentage shots.
Team fouls are even at 6 apiece. And the reaction from Young, who's made only 2 of 5 from the free throw line. Peter Reichbosch has checked in. So they're down deep in their roster as well. He is the 11th player. Somebody was in the lane too soon. And it's going to go against DePaul. So the Panthers will get it back.
You don't want to make those type of mistakes when you're trying to get back in a basketball game on the road in one of the toughest places to play in this conference we call the Big East.
Woodall gets it back to Ziegler, and he finishes. Well, you stay with it, the basketball comes back to you, doesn't it? Panthers by 16. That'll be a blocking foul on Zana, who has not scored so far this afternoon. Picks up his first. 30-14, the Panthers in front. Now, before you get carried away and think, well, this is going to be a blowout, the Panthers have had big leads before and let them get away.
Yeah, you're right, and we don't want to take anything for granted in this conference and the upsets that we've seen. And you're right, John, the Panthers, they can give up big leads, and when you play the style that DePaul plays, you can get back in basketball games in a hurry.
Well, that's what they did when they were down 16 to St. John's. Used some three-pointers, cut the lead to 3 with 2 minutes to go, and then could not, for Coach Purnell, get over the hump.
Still here, a deflection here, a rush shot, a turnover there.
A three-pointer here,
yeah,
there, and there. That's what it takes sometimes. Young is now just 3 of 7. The offensive putback won't go, and the rebound falls into the hands of J.J. Moore. We are over the midway point in this opening half at 9:15 remaining. Panthers have led most of the way. They got the first 4, and then DePaul had a 2-point lead briefly from the foul line. Ziegler nails the shot. 7 for him. 32-15. Largest lead of the half, and the blocking foul will go on Moore. So J.J. Moore picks up his first. It is the 8th team foul on the Panthers. He'll be shooting everything for both teams for the final 8:54.
And you have to recognize and take the ball to the basket when you get teams in the penalty. You don't want to settle for jump shots. You want to get inside and try to draw contact as much as possible.
Well, 7 different Panthers have scored, but 7 different Panthers also have fouls. Nobody, though, in foul trouble. Fahar at the line.
And I tell you, the Oakland Zoo right behind us, making all types of noises. Bird sounds and unbelievable different things that I'm hearing.
Well, John, you remember, and we're going to go back 25 years ago to Fitzgerald Fieldhouse at halftime on Jerome Lane's famous backboard breaking dunk. That's when the Zoo was right behind the visiting bench, right?
And there was a rope that separated them from the court, and they would get to the game hours before, just like they do now. And that arena wasn't as nice and as innovative as this one, but
turnover and a lead to Melvin, who jams home his first basket.
And Melvin, how about him not scoring until right now?
For the first 11 and a half minutes, missing from the score sheet. But sometimes he's a quiet scorer, you know what I mean? You don't think of him too much, and all of a sudden he's got 10, 12, 16 points.
Well, you know, he's an undersized front court player, and I think he scores many times when he can face up, run the lane. Not a traditional post guy. He's a little bit slighted in frame.
Woodall with a bomb for 3. That is his first basket of the afternoon. Young keeps his dribble. Baseline drive up and under, bending off, and the rebound by Adams. Boy, had a good look, didn't he? Just could not quite finish. Ziegler, who has had the hot hand. Working with Woodall. 7.5 to play in the opening half. Another three-pointer rattles out. And underneath a collision, the foul is going to go on Moore. There were 3 bodies on the court, 2 in gold, 1 in blue. Ziegler getting hot, helping the Panthers to their lead. We come back. There's a lot more from Pittsburgh. Lead at 35-19 here at the Peterson Event Center. We talked a little bit about their bench. Well, 23 of those points have come from the bench this afternoon.
Yeah, they're very deep, and they have 10 guys. And, you know, and speaking to Coach Purnell, he was a little bit worried about that because what they do is try to wear teams down. Very difficult to wear a team down that plays 10 guys. Legitimate minutes in that as well.
Klahar has a couple from the foul line. He'll be shooting with 7:25 to play in the half. Big East basketball from Pittsburgh, along with former Nova great John Celestin. I'm John Sanders, and let's face it, your former schools had a pretty good week, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been very impressive. You know, this knocking off Louisville and then coming right here and knocking off Syracuse, two of the top teams in the country. Jay Wright doing a phenomenal job. And I'll be the first to tell you that I thought Villanova was in trouble this year. Very young squad. They turned the basketball over a lot. But this is why you coach, and this is why you continue to work in the Big East Conference.
Wright with a move. Dumps it down. Zana spins toward the basket. Up and missed the shot. Tip won't go. Zana gets it back, puts it up. No good. Rebound pulled down that time by Crockett, who is yet to score, coming off a season-high 19 a week ago. Inside 7 to play in the half. Crockett on a drive. Adams got a piece. That's block number 40 for him on the year. Three-pointer too strong. Let us track down and kept alive by Rick Bosch. He'll get a fresh clock with 6.5 to go. Young on a drive. Scramble for the loose ball. Held ball. It'll stay at this end.
And John, you can see with DePaul, if they don't force turnovers, they really struggle scoring in the half court. And you see right here, they get all the way to the rim, and Adams, the deleter, the alterer, very difficult. But it's very hard for DePaul to get a good look, and that's what Pittsburgh does best in the half court. They guard you. They won't deny and really get out and pressure you. They just seal off the inside.
It's a three bending short. Adams tips it to Zana. You look at Adams from New Zealand. Well, Jamie Dixon played and coached in New Zealand. Us before the game, he played with some of his brothers who are much older than Young, so they've had their eye on him for a long time as Woodall hits the tray. Zero against zero right there. Melvin from the corner buries it.
They're going to need a lot more of that. Cleveland Melvin. He's going to have to have a sensational rest of this game to get DePaul back in this ball game.
The Panthers' biggest lead has been 18. A couple of brief leads for DePaul. They were up by 2 and then up by 1, and the foul will go on the 0, worn in blue. That's Klahar with his first. 7th team foul. That will put the Panthers at the line. Robinson, who had a couple of big ones in their win over Providence, will get the task here, and he's off to a good start. You know, they said going in they knew what they were going to get with him. There's been no problem with him making the transition to the Big East.
Yeah, Coach Jamie Dixon spoke highly of him. I spoke to assistant coach Brandon Knight a few days ago, and as you see both of them right there, they really speak highly of this young guy. He's a worker. He comes to work every day, wants to learn. Anytime you, as a freshman, can lead the conference in assist to turnover ratio, that's a phenomenal feat.
Adams almost had the putback. 9 different Panthers of the 10 who dress have scored. Young with it. Brandon with 5, looking for more, rims off. The rebound pulled down and lost. Blue Demons had it. Woodall knocks it away and saves it. Well, that's good hustle right there. Oh, nice drive. Quick move by Wright. His second field goal. And Oliver Purnell has seen enough. He's going to call a timeout. 41-22 is the score, and we have 4:46 remaining in the opening half. So every time the Blue Demons make a mini run, the Panthers have the answer.
And that's great hustle right here, and you'll see them push the basketball up, and they'll hit right on the baseline. Really no help. There should be help. A great job right there by Zana to seal off his defender. Watch right here. They'll reverse the basketball. Now watch right here. Watch Zana. Almost like a box out.
Exactly.
Does not allow Melvin to come over and deter right for the layup.
John, there was no way Melvin was going to get to make the play defensively that time.
Zero chance.
Well, the Panthers lead it by 19. That's the biggest lead they've had in the half. We still have 4:46 to play. And Adams is another guy. You watch him, he'll do a couple of great things in nothing for a while, and all of a sudden he shows the potential that he obviously has.
Yeah, you know, he's not the same type of player as a DeJuan Blair, an aggressive type of guy that they've had in the past, but you do see the skill level, John, for Adams. He can face up and knock down jumpers. He can post up. He can run the floor. Great body, great build. You see him on the defensive end, what he can do. He can block shots with both hands.
Well, interestingly enough, the Big East coaches voted him the freshman of the year, even though none of them had ever seen him play. So his reputation preceded him. McKinney, he has been quiet. 3 points for him so far. Knocked away and stolen by Woodall. Gets it ahead this time to Wright. Picks it in, scoops and scores. Great job of using his body to keep the defender away.
And Wright is really impressing me. He is really impressing me with his strength and his fluidity running the floor with the basketball.
It is a 21-point Panther lead. You know, Oliver Purnell telling us as Zana makes the steal. Let's see if he can finish. He'll go to the line. He was telling us that he feared the physicality of the Pittsburgh Panthers. That's one of the things that he was worried about. He's got to be worried about the score as well. (43-22). Pittsburgh pretty much in control throughout this first half with just under 4 to play. And the top 10 across the country, Duke is back at number 1, but who knows, Sean, who's going to be number 1 when the dust settles.
Well, Duke obviously with the whooping that they took the other day, they're going to drop a little bit, and you know Syracuse and Louisville are probably going to drop out of the top 5 as well.
Duke rebounded against Maryland. KU leads Oklahoma. In overtime, of course, we talked about Nova beating Syracuse, Georgetown over Louisville, Kansas State knocked off by Iowa State, Wisconsin nipping Minnesota, and on it goes. Big East, top 25, top 20, top 10 upsets happen, don't they?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why we watch the games. And that's why they play the games.
Lozano completes it. For the 10 who have played for Pittsburgh, all 10 of them have at least 1 point.
And that's a great luxury when you can put 10 guys in the game with confidence and know that they're going to execute and help your team to victory. What a luxury.
The lead grows to 23. Still 3:50 left in the opening half. And at this point, this might be as good as Pitt has played all year. They've simply overwhelmed DePaul. Moses Morgan outside. Melvin into the lane, has it knocked away. He's able to track it down and then throws it into the backcourt. We have the shot clock go off anyway.
You see, that's what Melvin is going to struggle. He's not a post-up guy, especially when you're going up against the bigger bodies in the Big East Conference. He's better at running the floor, catching the ball, the free throw line area, facing up, and being able to beat the bigger guys with quickness.
Well, DePaul with 9 turnovers so far in the half. They've committed 8 fouls, and they have 7 field goals. So that should be the other way around, right? More field goals than fouls. And the foul is going to go against number 23. That'll be Donovan.
And Pittsburgh got a little lucky there. They were about to commit a turnover.
That's right, they were. They were about to hand it to DePaul.
Yeah, literally. And you see Melvin, his numbers, nothing to shout about so far in this game.
Taylor now 3 for 3 at the free throw line. We'll get one more. The Panther lead continues to grow.
Lots of extracurricular activity going on in the paint.
And the conversation between the official Rob Riley and a couple of the participants as they scramble for position on the free throw. For Pittsburgh, looking for a 9-0 run. Taylor with a pair, all of his points coming from the line. And the Panthers increase their lead to 25 here in the first half. Again, the foul is going to go, or excuse me, the foul is going to go on DePaul. That'll be Reichbosch picking up the foul. And he's the player that was involved with Taylor a couple of minutes ago at the other end.
Yeah, and you probably think that the refs are trying to clean up some things here so as not to have any altercations or any other things happen.
Johnson sets up Ziegler, and Ziegler's been terrific. Taylor against Reichbosch puts up the hook and won't go, and the rebound snatched away by Kirk. Melvin in the lane. Out of bounds, belongs to the Panthers.
And again, if you're DePaul, at some point, you have to try to get yourself a good look. This right here, tough shot for Melvin, and obviously he's trying to get himself going. But you're going to have to move the basketball and try to get yourself a higher percentage shot going into the locker room. And you're down 47-22. You have to try to find some better ways to get to the hole.
Zana got the worst of that scrum in which 4 players were on the court, so he'll go to the bench as Young checks back in. Penetration. Wow, what a shot that turned out to be. Young with 7 points. Somehow he got that one to go. I'm not sure how.
Yeah, Young, that's something he learned on the streets of Baltimore, Maryland. That's a playground shot right there. You can't teach that.
There's the trap and the turnover. They put the squeeze that time on Duran Johnson, and he traveled.
And again, this lead may look insurmountable right now. As you see right here, little trap. And Johnson, he'll drag that pivot foot. Actually, just forgets about the pivot foot.
Well, he was looking for help. Young, spin move at the foul line into the lane. No basket. The foul will go against the Panthers. Second foul on Trey Ziegler, the coach's son who transferred to the University of Pittsburgh. Woodall and Cameron Wright set to check back in for the Panthers.
And again, it's 47-24. It may look like this lead can't be chopped into, but let's not forget with the pace that DePaul plays at, and Pittsburgh's inability to put teams away over the past couple of games, you could still have a game here in the second half if DePaul can make a little bit of a run.
Young gets it done that time at the free throw line. He has now made 5 of 9 and has 9 points. Both teams in the double bonus the rest of the way. DePaul went over 3 minutes without a field goal, and that's the reason they've fallen so far behind. Young to the rescue. Woodall will stop and wait for help. Finds his running mate at guard, Robinson, the freshman. Now Wright off the Adams screen. Gets it back to Adams. Good feed to Taylor. Well, that's a good look, wasn't it?
That is great basketball. Unselfish passing, big to big.
Oliver Purnell exhorting his team to reset in half court. There's a dump down and underneath move. Tipped into the hands of Wright. Panthers have numbers 3 on 2. Woodall stops, pops, scores. 8 for Woodall. That's his first 2-pointer of the afternoon. And it's back to a 25-point lead. Foul will go on Trey Woodall. That's number 2 on him. Well, a reminder coming up at halftime. We'll look back 25 years ago, and that's what was left of the backboard in Fitzgerald Fieldhouse. You know, of the players on both teams, none of them was born when that happened.
Taking it way back. The Big East Conference. It's been around for a long time. Lots of great memories, lots of great names, great players that have come through this conference.
And certainly, with Charles Smith on that team, John Miller was leading the fast break, and Jerome Lane got the feed and finished it off by breaking the backboard. That was a terrific basketball team they had here in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah. They had some great players over the years here.
Johnson pulls down the rebound. The Panthers leading 51-27. And it's the most points that the Panthers have scored in a half this season. It tells you what kind of an afternoon they've had.
Yeah, they played great. And, you know, you can be awarded that when you play against DePaul because they're going to push the pace and you're going to get lots of opportunities to shoot the basketball.
Robinson's 3 won't go. Adams had the rebound. Taylor with a finish. Taylor now with 8. This is Coaches Against Cancer weekend, and both coaching staffs, including the head coaches, wearing their tennis shoes. McKinney works outside. That's a 3 on the way. Good. At the buzzer. Morgan hits the 3-pointer to cut the lead, but it's been all Pitt in the first half. They'll head to the locker room with a 23-point advantage. What a great half it was for Pittsburgh. their best half of this season so far. That's a three that came before the light went on. It does end the half. And we come back, we'll take another look at a backboard that was shattered by Jerome Lane. That's all part of our halftime report coming up from the Peterson Event Center. Before we go, we have to show the referees the ball is away. And you can see the clock is still ticking up above. That's the official clock, and it's a good basket. Oh, the Panthers in control. The Zoo is on their feet. Pittsburgh rolling to a big lead in the first half. We'll begin our halftime coverage from Pittsburgh after this.
Saving a few bucks.
Same here. Wendy's.
Saving doesn't mean settling.
Going in.
Introducing Wendy's new right price, right size menu. Loaded with big tastes you can't get anywhere else. Starting at 99 cents.
Now that's better.
Welcome into the Wendy's Halftime Report. I'm Michelle Steele. Now coming up, we'll join the ESPN Buzzer Beater Network in progress to keep you up to date with all of the action going on today. Buzzer Beater features unlimited live cut-ins, highlights, and analysis from the biggest matchups throughout college hoops. But first, it's time for a Wendy's Wooden Award Watch update. And today we spotlight Michigan's Trey Burke, the sophomore guard averaging 17.4 points and 7.2 assists per game while shooting over 50% from the floor for the 18-1 Wolverines. Next up for Michigan, a Big Ten showdown with Illinois tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. And if they win there, they could find themselves atop the AP poll. Now coming up, as promised, let's get you updated with everything going on today and join the Buzzer Beater Network in progress. A reminder, Buzzer Beater available through participating TV providers, and you can watch on your television or via WatchESPN.com on the Watch ESPN app. Enjoy.
Against that zone, maybe the easiest shot is on the pitch back out before they reset it, but your kids had a great presence. And what did Arch do on that last shot?
No, you're right. It's so hard to run a play against Syracuse at the end of the game because they're well coached. They're going to play your personnel and take you out of anything. So you got to get a shot up first, and then you do have a shot on the kick out. But you give credit to them. They're such a great team. You know, you talk about us coming back. They just never go away, never go away. That's why I think they got a chance to win a national championship.
Now, finally, what does this mean moving forward for your team?
Well, you know what? I know you tell your guys as a coach you can beat anybody. But until they do it, they don't really know what it takes. So 2 games like this, I think our guys have a great confidence in how they can win games within their own personalities, not just what the coach is telling them.
Thanks, Jay.
Thanks, buddy.
From one Big East thriller to another, Georgetown and Louisville. This one in the nation's capital. Low-scoring game just the way Georgetown likes it. Hoy is up 3. Markelle Starks puts them up 5, and Louisville, off that loss to Nova, could really use a win. Russ Smith benched at the start, came on late. Gets Louisville to within 3. Starks again back in 4th game. JT3's team up 5. Louisville won't go away. Down 2. Remember a week ago today, they're the nation's #1 ranked team. Gorgie Jang inside, tied at 48. Now tied at 50. Georgetown's second attempt is all good. Aaron Bowen, the acrobatic finish. And in another Big East thriller on Saturday, Georgetown defeats Louisville 53-51. We mentioned a week ago today the Cardinals were the #1 team in the country. Now for the first time in 3 years, they've lost 3 straight. After the game, Len Elmore with the winning coach, John Thompson III.
John, tell me about the poise your guys had down the stretch here when they had a lead and Louisville came rushing on.
Ooh, I didn't feel like we played with poise. We had, I feel like, 10 wasted offensive possessions where their defense just disrupted us. That's what they do. But, you know, we found a way to hold on. We found a way, for the most part, to get stops. And this league's crazy, man. Anybody can win on any day.
Well, that's what I call poise, the defensive end. But in the end, obviously down the stretch, Louisville had 2 opportunities to get to the basket. One was a held ball and the other offensive rebound. During the timeouts between those, what'd you tell you guys?
Get a stop. You know, we just wanted to get. So we knew they were going to get an on ball going to the basket, and we just want everyone flowing with the ball. And then if they kicked it out, hard closeouts. And so I think our guys, our bigs, did a good job on all those on balls, helping our guards as they're terrific, and their guards are terrific as they came off.
Well, after an 0-2 start in Big East play, you're now 4-3, right in the hunt as Syracuse lost today. Villanova beat them. You know, what do you think of your team's progress?
We're progressing. We're progressing. As I said a few seconds ago, you know, this is a crazy league. On any given night, literally, anyone can beat anyone. You just got to get lucky and hope the ball bounces your way.
Well, this is the last year of the Big East as we know it. You know, what kind of expectations do you have going forward? I think everybody's saving their best for last.
I just want to win our next game. I'm not thinking big picture, Big East, anything right now. I just want to win our next game.
All right, congratulations. Go enjoy this one.
Thank you very much.
Would a Saturday full of upsets continue in Ames, Iowa? Let's find out. 11th-ranked Kansas State and the Cyclones. This is Rodney Magruder, a guy you love.
I do. He's deep shooter, creative athlete, really likes Bruce Weber's style.
I also know you like Will Clyburn. Back the other way.
24 points, 10 rebounds, and great leadership for the big guard.
Cyclones up 4, coming off that devastating loss to Texas Tech. Will Spradling from downtown. It counts, and the foul. 4-point play ties the game, and then it's more Clyburn.
Yeah, very important for Iowa State after the Texas Tech loss earlier this week.
Now, this freshman doesn't get a lot of pub. Maybe he should. George Niang from downtown in Iowa State wins 73-67. They entered the day in 5th place in the Big 12 Conference. But this is a huge win and a tough week for Kansas State, hovering on the periphery of the top 10, and now 2 losses in 4 days to KU and Iowa State. Tough week for this squad.
Yeah, Iowa State, 51 points in the loss at Texas Tech. Back at 73, they're the #1 scoring team in the Big 12 this year.
All right, let's move to live action. ESPN Buzzer Beater takes us to Columbia, where it has been, shall we say, an interesting week for the Missouri basketball program, taking on Vandyton.
Frank Haith, NCAA implications. Lawrence Bauer, their stud forward, is dressing but not playing in this contest.
Peter Johnson, Vandy's leading scorer, 15 a game, 10th best in the league. Shot clock under 10 again. Parker finds Odom in the corner. And he bangs one home. Second bucket for Odom.
We saw Vanderbilt go into their Chin series, which is an old Princeton Pete Carroll set. And then when that breaks down, they go into a 4-out, 1-in screening game where the 5-man screens into ball screens.
Oriaki wants the ball down low. Turns to his jump hook. And Criswell is there to clean it up.
Got to drop down on the weak side and help the helper. Someone came over for Oriaki to contest Oriaki. A teammate has to drop down on the weak side, box out.
While it may not be 100% Princeton principles, Vandy likes to operate with 5 guys on the outside. Here's Odom for 2. And now Pressey will lead the break. Parker brings it down. All 6 Missouri points so far have been in the paint. They go outside of it for that jumper, and there's a foul on Keon Bell, the Pepperdine transfer. So why does Vandy operate with 5 guys on the perimeter?
Well, traditionally, Coach Stallings, again, one of the best offensive. I work with Kevin in Kansas, and he's going to play towards his talent. Last year, he Festus Ezeli, so they were 4 around 1 with a low post player. Now, Ezeli's in the NBA, so they've got to have a guy like Moats, who's not as powerful inside, work him on the outside. He's a good ball handler, decent outside shooter, setting a lot of ball screens.
Vandy's a team that shoots a lot of threes. 3rd most in the SEC in 3-pointers attempted. Peter Johnson kicks it outside. Nothing doing there for Parker. And Dejon Parker's on the board.
Kedron Johnson has been somewhat unselfish. Some of the coaches would like him to be a little bit more selfish because he's got talent.
Oriaki didn't go down and get it.
You cannot lead a man in the post. You have Oriaki sealing. He cannot seal and go release. So Ross led him into the post. You've got to hit the target hand.
Second turnover of the game for Missouri. Quick look inside to Moats.
Great screening action. Diagonal up. Moats gets a layup. Kevin Stallings, great execution.
Pressey will pull. Missouri took a lot of early threes in the come-from-behind win against South Carolina. Phil Pressey says it's not the way we should run our offense. He knows better than that, but on the foul, we're going to stop it to play.
Buzzer beater continues. We take you to Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, where Jeff Withey has been a monster roaming the paint. Just a part of a great Kansas D so far today.
Best defense in terms of field goal percentage in all of college basketball. Holding so far Oklahoma 26% from the field. Withey, 4 block shots, 8 rebounds.
Osborne with just 4 points. He's 2 for 10 from the floor. Osborne setting the screen on McEwen. And again, with the contest there, didn't block it, but made it difficult.
What he does is he takes away your vision if you're driving, even if you don't get the shot blocked.
McLemore, the prize freshman for Kansas. Young off balance, nice move using the glass.
Sometimes when you back off a guy as slithery as Young, you give him a head start and a head of steam on his drives. It's exactly what Kevin Young did right there. I never like to back off those guys, even though I didn't think they could score. Rather pressure their passes.
Must be right here. Withey gets a piece. Emba, a couple of ball fakes, rejected. Feed inside, another rejection. And this time a foul is called.
Buzzer beater takes us to a Horizon League showdown in Chicago, where it's the Super Bowl will be son versus son, but for Detroit it's father and son.
Ray McCallum, senior star guard in the MAC at Ball State, one of the great players in their league's history. His son, McDonald's All-American, Ray McCallum, going head-to-head against Loyola. So far, slow start, 3 for 8 from the field.
We hope you enjoyed the fast action coverage from ESPN's Buzzer Beater Network. We'll continue to provide this service Wednesday nights and all day on Saturdays throughout the college hoops season. Now, that'll do it for us at the Wendy's Halftime Report. I'm Michelle Steele. Enjoy the second half.
This is college basketball on ESPN Radio and ESPNRadio.com.
15:41 to go first half in Columbia, Missouri. Vanderbilt leading the 22nd ranked Missouri Tigers 9-6 with Will Purdue. I'm Mark Kestisher, and before Alex Oriaki shoots free throws, Vanderbilt did not shoot around this morning as Kevin Stallings really trying to save on his club's wear and tear.
Initially, they were going to have a 10 a.m. shoot around for this 4 o'clock Central Time tip, but he decided, because of the fact they had practiced so well, they've won their last 2 games against South Carolina, Ole Miss, that they were just going to have a team meeting at the hotel, let these guys rest, get up off their legs. And so far, that's paying dividends early. Again, a team that only shoots 41% on the season has started off this game 4 out of 6 for 66%.
Alex Oriaki, one of the many new faces here in Columbia this year. The UConn transfer hit the first free throw and bags the second. And Vanderbilt's lead is cut to 9-8 as the Commodores will bring it up against a little bit of pressure here from Missouri.
A little bit of a 1-2-2 full court press.
Adrian Johnson near side passes across the timeline to Sheldon Jeter, back to Parker, and back to Johnson, who looks back to Kevin Stallings in his 14th year as head coach. And now Missouri in a zone, and they throw over it, and throwing it down is Sheldon Jeter on the alley-oop.
And Oriaki, who's supposed to be back covering the rim, got himself a little too far up on the defense, got mesmerized by the ball, could not recover to try to contest the lob.
11-8 Vanderbilt. Missouri ball, 15-10 to go in the half. Here's the pass over the top to Alex Oriaki, knocked away by Kedron Johnson, and it'll be last touch by Johnson. Missouri will bring it in as Stefan Jankovic is on the floor now for Missouri, along with Alex Oriaki, Jabari Brown, Ernest Ross, and it'll be Phil Pressey to trigger front court baseline right. The very tall Sheldon Jeter in his face. He throws over the top to Jankovic. And now over to Brown. Between the legs dribble on top of the three-point arc. He's guarded by Kevin Bright, who's getting his first action, the freshman from Germany for Vanderbilt.
Missouri spreads the floor. Got 4 out and 1 in. And here's a three-point try for Brown. Knocked it down from straight on. The Oregon transfers tied the game at 11.
And he was guarded very well by Kevin Bright, but he just did a nice job of rising up over the extended arm of the defender.
Kyle Fuller now on the floor for Vanderbilt. The backup point finds Kevin Bright popping out between the rings. Now over to Moats on the right. On top, Jeter, left side, Parker. A lot of passing. Ball doesn't touch the floor. Three-pointer up, no good for Fuller. And the rebound to Ernest Rost of Mizzou. Quickly into the front court. Pressey shovels it back to Jankovic. Ball fake, dribbles inside the three-point line. Gives to Ross for 3. Hit the front rim. Offensive board, Oriaki, and he sticks it back in.
And that right there is just the size and the width of Alex Oriaki. He pushed Shelby Moats up underneath the basket, and that enabled him to get that rebound.
Oriaki about 30 pounds heavier than Moats. A 13-11 Missouri lead. Moats will swing it right side to Parker. Ball overhead finds a cutting Bright. The freshman picks up his dribble, hands back to Kyle Fuller. Fuller, a 6'1 junior, lost a lot of minutes this year. On the floor now accepting his role. Now Parker on the right wing with 9 to shoot. Sends it in the left corner to Bright. 6 to shoot, still holding it against Ross, who's right in his grill. 3 to shoot, puts it on the floor, now shoots at 3. Tick the front rim, rebound to Missouri. Missouri turns the other way with Pressey. Shoveling left side. This is Jabari Brown missing from 3, and Moats chases it down in the near corner. As Vanderbilt will bring it up, down 2.
The last 2 times down the floor, Missouri trying to hit the home run with the 3. Need to work the ball around, attack the basket.
Kyle Fuller front court to Moats on top. Hands off to Parker, bounce pass mid-post to Jeter. Now back out to Kyle Fuller, dribbles up to the right hash as we cross 13 minutes to go in the half.
C presents Big East Conference basketball. One change as we start the second half. It's Moses Morgan who will get the start to begin this second half of play for DePaul. Pitt's starting 5 the same. Panthers have the ball to begin the half. And immediately we have a foul inside. There is Billy Garrett. He is one of the assistant coaches in his 4th season. He was here before Oliver Purnell, and his son will join him next year.
Yeah, and his son's a great player. Ranked him on the top 100 players by lots of recruiting services. 6'4" point guard out of Chicago's Morgan Park High School.
Second foul called on Melvin. And there's an easy interception. Crockett takes it down, missed the shot. Patterson the rebound. Now numbers for the Panthers, 4 on 2. Woodall, Zana. He got it back and paid the price along the baseline. So another foul. Well, that foul is on Moses Morgan. That's his first. A couple of quick fouls in the second half against the Blue Demons, who've been down by as many as 25. Right now they trail by 23. Panthers' highest scoring first half, and very close to the biggest lead they've ever had in Big East play at halftime. Nice move that time by Patterson.
And if you're a Pittsburgh, as you see the pass right back up the court. And if you're a Pittsburgh Pan fan, you want to see more of that out of Patterson. You know he can shoot the 3-point shot. You want him to be more aggressive. He can score the basketball.
The rebound for Adams was his 8th, and we've got a foul along the baseline. And once again, it's going to go against Melvin. He'll pick up number 3. So a couple of quick fouls on Melvin, who's, I think you could call it a frustrating afternoon for him.
Yeah, and that's an understatement. Talk about Melvin. You're speaking about the 5th leading scorer in the conference. He is unable to get on track. But give credit to the Pittsburgh defense. This is what they do.
Woodall feeds Adams. 7 points for the freshman from New Zealand. You know, we mentioned that Jamie Dixon played with his brothers. I said, were they big? He said, yeah, one was 6'9", the other was 6'10". That shot is short, that time by Morgan. So here come the Panthers again. They just continue to add to the lead. Zana with his first field goal. It'll take us to a timeout. The Panthers by 29 here in Pittsburgh.
Red Lobster
Welcome back to Big East basketball from Pittsburgh at Peterson Event Center, and the Panthers simply picking up where they left off. They have outscored the Blue Demons 6-0. We've already looked back at 25 years ago. But you see the defender right there in front of Jerome Lane.
Yeah, we tried to pin that on Eric Murdoch. We thought it was Eric Murdoch, who was a friend of mine from back home. But I just went back and forth texting him, and he said that was not me. He did not want to take the rap for that one.
He was on the team.
Yes.
But he was not there. It was Carlton Screen.
Yeah.
A.K.A. Pop.
He said we had to help him take some of the glass out of his body during the break.
Well, interesting. You know, the players all picked it up. A lot of them made necklaces out of it. And after the game was over, Larry Eldridge sent all of us who were at the game a piece of that backboard. There were 2 broadcasts that night. One for ESPN, the other was the Big East Network. Mike Gorman and Billy Raftery were on the ESPN game. Ronnie Perry and yours truly did the game for the Big East Network. Zana from the side short.
Got to see it live, huh, John?
Yes, sir. Rejected by Patterson.
Patterson says no, sir. Now, Patterson, he has the tools to be a great player. I just want to see him do it more consistently. But Patterson shooting the basketball, his assist-to-turnover ratio is great. He can handle the ball.
As a matter of fact, earlier today, one of the ushers here reminding me, hey, I was there. I was in this corner. That's where I was when it happened.
You don't forget something like that, you know? I did the 6 overtime game on the radio, Syracuse, Connecticut game.
Right.
You'll never forget that.
Absolutely not.
Those are things that stick out in your mind. Remember the first time I cried over a Big East game, well, actually not a Big East game. Syracuse loses the NCAA tournament to Indiana. Keith Smart hits the jump shot in the corner. I remember that way back in 1987 as a child, being hurt. The Syracuse Orange, my favorite team. I hope my Villanova Wildcats don't hear that.
3-pointer that time by Morgan. That's his second of the afternoon. He's got 8 on the night. Knocked away out of bounds. The Panthers will keep it. So you were a baby in 1987?
Must have been around 10 years old, something like that. But that was my first time watching the NCAA championship. And I remember Derek Coleman and
that was
Sherman
a pretty
Douglas,
good team, wasn't it?
Oh, man. I was a big Syracuse Orange fan.
They could play a little bit.
And Keith Smart, the jumper from the corner. Nice pass. Oh, you got to finish that, big fella.
He had 2 cracks at it, missed them both. So DePaul will get it back. 16:59 to play. Just over 3 minutes gone in the second half. Here's the good feed again.
And watch this nice pass by Robinson. But see, the big fella, he has to go up and dunk that. No layups allowed here in the Big East Conference. He has to go up Adams and hammer that one home.
Well, not when you're staring right at the basket, huh?
You still got to hammer it home. You got to send the message, because against more athletic players, they're going to block that shot, John.
Melvin with a miss, Zana the rebound. Cleveland Melvin continues to struggle. Robinson looking for Adams again, but he wasn't looking for the ball.
And I think a great pass by Robinson. Adams did a great job sealing off, but Adams not aware that the little lob was coming.
Ten turnovers now for Pittsburgh, but you know, you talked about it. They needed to force the turnovers. It really hasn't been a factor so far.
Yeah, 10 turnovers when you're going against a DePaul team that pressures the way they do. You know, that's a phenomenal job.
No place for Young to go. To back instead to Morgan. Against Robinson. Melvin back to Morgan for 3. There's a block by Adams.
Adams, he's just not having it in the paint.
The foul will go on to Zana. It'll be his second. It's all Panthers in Pittsburgh. At home, 59-33. We have 15:58 remaining here in the second half. It's been a busy day. This is game 5 of 5 in the conference. Villanova knocking off Syracuse at home. Georgetown did the same thing to Louisville at home. Notre Dame over South Florida. That is the final, and there are the current standings. Pittsburgh has a chance if they win this one, which they should obviously, to go to 5-3 and find themselves alone for the moment in third place.
So interesting. A few games ago, you'd have said, hey, Villanova wasn't going to be in the running. You would have said Pittsburgh, you know, probably would finish somewhere in the middle of the pack. My, how things have changed.
And that means they'll change again.
Oh, yeah.
Crockett has been quiet. Only 1 point for him after a season-high 19 a week ago against St. John's. But Melvin has been quiet as well. He had 20 against the Panthers a year ago in that upset victory. Adams pulls down the rebound that really hit the bottom part of the basket. And back come the Panthers. In front, 59-33 off the glass and good. Ziegler has been terrific. 9 points for him. And this bench for Pittsburgh, here's part of the problem. That's a 3 and it goes. Part of the problem for Pittsburgh, they get in games like this, a steal and a putback there by Melvin. They don't have a lot of players to sub.
Yeah, you're right. They play 10 guys, but they don't have those extra guys, walk-ons, and things of that nature to put in the basketball game.
Well, they've got some walk-ons. They've got a couple of guys who are redshirting. From Gilbert transferred to Fairfield. John Johnson transferred to Penn State. Chris Jones is redshirting. Aaron Nwankwo is redshirting.
So in essence, John, they play 10 guys. They're deep, but they're not deep. Because at the end of the game.
Well, it makes it tough for the other team when you're down by 25 points.
Yeah.
Loose ball, picked up. Comes up short on the follow shot. The Panthers have the basketball back. I've been very impressed with Ziegler. Leads the team in scoring, and a good feed there to J.J. Moore.
Ball really not offering much resistance at this point in the basketball game.
So Morgan has been a bit of an answer for DePaul, but it's been way too little and too late. With 6 minutes gone, Adams feeds Johnson. Loose ball foul will go against Melvin, I believe. I'll tell you what, here in the second half, Cleveland Melvin has quickly gotten himself into foul trouble. That is 4 on Melvin. You can see the frustration shows all over.
Yeah, and he's tired. You can tell he's breathing heavy. Very difficult when you play at this pace to score, have to defend. You have to get out and get deflections. You're asking a lot. You see his numbers. Not impressive today.
Cameron Wright with it for Pittsburgh. Gives it up to Woodall. We've played 6 minutes of the second half. Panthers 63-38. Patterson. Woodall goes baseline, puts up a runner off the glass, no good. Loose ball out of bounds, touched last by the Blue Demons. The Panthers will keep it under their own basket, and they'll get a fresh clock. Right. Panthers in half court now. Off the Adams screen, Woodall works his way to the lane. Foul line jumper comes up short. But the Panthers get it back. A lane to the basket and a foul on the Blue Demons. Foul will go on Robertson. Pick up his first.
You see another offensive rebound for Pittsburgh. And then Patterson will take it inside. And it's very difficult, you know, Paul, when you play a pressure type of style, full court pressing, wide open, it kind of makes you vulnerable on the backboard. Very difficult to find guys and box out. Playing against a team like Pittsburgh, who crash the glass regardless, that can be problematic.
Adams will take a seat. 2 of 2 for Patterson at the line. He's got 8. Very balanced scoring. All 10 players for the Panthers are in the scorebook this afternoon. 65-38. Runner comes up short. Woodall has the rebound. He'll push it ahead to Patterson. And DePaul comes up with the steal. Patterson was trying that time to feed right. But sloppy ball handling there by DePaul. Here's Patterson down the lane, kicks it back outside. That's going to be an offensive foul.
Anytime you dip your shoulder or extend your arm, makes it very easy for the ref to make that call.
7 players have at least 7 points for Pittsburgh this afternoon. And a year ago, they had 5 players in double figures in the game in Chicago, but they lost 84-81. They had the lead. Panthers had won 7 straight until that loss, but they are making up for that so far this afternoon. Morgan. Blocked from behind by Taylor. Here's Woodall. Woodall stops, goes down low, and a foul. Moore will go to the line. The foul was on Robertson. It is his second. We've mentioned it. More on the strength of the Pitt bench in evidence here today when we come back. (67-38). It's been all Pittsburgh this afternoon, and a tremendous job off the bench by the Panthers. Everybody's had a part. 7 different players with 7 points or more. Taylor has been outstanding off that bench as well. Ziegler has been terrific. Everybody has joined in. The Panthers have dominated off the bench.
You see right there, when you can play 10 guys, we spoke about this, John, at the beginning of the game. When you can play so many guys extended minutes like Pittsburgh can do, it's very difficult. And Coach Purnell, shooting around, he talked about that. He was a little worried about the ability of Pitt to put so many guys out there on the court. They love to wear teams down, but it's very difficult.
Well, off the bench, Moore becomes the first player in double figures. Wright leads the break. Taylor has it knocked out of bounds. Panthers will keep it under their own basket with 11:40 to play. Knocked out of bounds that time by McKinney. Panthers have their largest lead of the afternoon. They're up by 30. And what happens now, John, for both teams in a game like this? Patterson for three, buries it.
Well, if you're Pittsburgh, obviously you want to continue to execute because you want to prepare for other games.
Well, other games are going to get very tough for the Panthers. They've got Louisville coming up on the 28th and Syracuse at home on February 2nd.
And you're talking about an upset Louisville and Syracuse. And if you're DePaul, you have to continue to try to execute. Even though you're down by this many points, you want to prepare yourself for the rest of the Big East Conference as well. And you have to continue to run your sets and figure out ways to score the basketball that you can use down the line this year.
Reichbosch will be at the line for the first time this season. He had played in 8 games prior to this afternoon. And he was involved in some physical play in the first half. So the freshman from Chicago is 0 for 1, and Oliver Purnell, one of the things he wants to do is recruit Chicagoland, keep some of those good players home. That's tough because the competition there comes from the Big Ten.
Yeah, we spoke about that in pregame, John. Actually, in shoot around, you know, when it's Big Ten country in Chicago, so very difficult to recruit for Big East play when some of these kids are growing up watching Big Ten, the Indiana, the Michigan, the Michigan States. Even though DePaul, you know, it's going to be difficult. But now with the Big East, and we're not sure what's going to be happening, the new Catholic 7, or if they add some other schools, it remains to be seen.
There are decisions, obviously, to be made. Patterson now with a dozen. These two teams will play again right at the end of the regular season. They'll play in Chicago. .73-38 is the score. That will be Pittsburgh's final Big East regular season game before they go to the ACC. 3 is too strong. Patterson the rebound. Loose ball, and it's turned over by Ziegler. Quickly back the other way as McKinney on a drive won't go. Loose ball, but out of bounds was Patterson with the rebound. Oddly enough, they will also play Syracuse, and that will be the Orange's final Big East regular season home game at the end of the year. Our Big East game is being produced and distributed by ESPN Regional Television Incorporated. Young leans in, comes up short, right into the hands of Taylor. Ziegler waits for Woodall, who in turn goes back the other way to Zana. And that was a volleyball play there, and a technical foul called for the ball being knocked out of bounds.
Add insult to injury. Pittsburgh, the Oakland Zoo behind us. Looking for something to be excited about. Let's see right here. Zana misses the little bunny. And then
that's frustration. The technical was called on Reichbosch, who knocked it out of bounds. And Reichbosch has been involved in some physical activity. That time hooked up a little bit with Zana. He batted it out of bounds, and that's going to send Woodall to the line.
But you know what? He gets a technical. They're down 73-38. And you never want to, you know, advocate for play like that, but at least he shows a little fight, some frustration when you're getting, you know,
he has had plenty of that.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting ambushed right now. This is out of hand.
Well, Woodall will go to the line to shoot the free throws.
And they're going to rescind the technical now, I think. I think they're definitely rescinding.
So take that foul away. I thought that was a little harsh, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought it was a little much.
Ziegler will shoot a pair at the line. Trey Ziegler looking for double figures. Won't get it with number 1. Ziegler looking for his 10th on the afternoon. Gets it. So double figures for the junior from Detroit by way of Central Michigan. 74-38. Tap away by Patterson. Scramble for the loose ball. They still fight for it. Reichbosch gets it to Young. And Young is hammered on the play by Woodall.
You see both teams still playing hard out here, even with this game pretty much already solidified. You see the hustle and very hard foul right there by Woodall on Young. But good sportsmanship shown right there. Woodall out of Patterson, New Jersey, went to St. Anthony High School. Played for the famed Bob Hurley.
Double figures now for Young with 10. Remember, he had 26 in that upset win for DePaul at home last year, early in the season against Pittsburgh. One out of 2. Zana with a rebound. Melvin is back on. He has struggled this afternoon. Try to get the trap near midcourt. To Zana, deflected, saved by Taylor. Back to Wright. It's going their way today, isn't it?
You're right about that. I mean, that was I would say a sloppy possession.
Zana knocks it away. He's got a free run to the hole. That basket holds up.
No shatter there.
No shatter there at all.
Those days are behind us, or so we think.
78-39. Melvin inside, draws the foul. No basket. Foul is on Durand Johnson.
You'll see Zana with the hammer home. I tell you.
But the equipment has changed since 1988, has it not?
I would think so, and I would hope so.
Here's Melvin from outside. That rims off. Weak side rebound controlled by Crockett. Puts it up and in. First field goal for Jamie Crockett.
You speak about the equipment, John. The shorts have gotten longer. The basketball has changed. The rims. Some of these arenas I come to, I get a little jealous, John. This is a beautiful place to watch a basketball game that I never got a chance to play in.
Well, oddly enough, none of these DePaul players have ever played here. The last time that DePaul played here was 2009.
Wow.
For some reason, the games have all been played in Chicago. 8:42 remaining in this one. Jamie Dixon's team very much in control. It has been a long afternoon for Oliver Purnell. You know, you get kind of used to making a run, getting yourself back in the game, which they did a week ago against St. John's, but it simply hasn't happened today.
Yeah, and you can't keep depending on getting back in ball games. You can't always think that teams are going to, start to fall apart. DePaul dug themselves a huge hole in the first half, and nobody's throwing them a rope.
8:42 to go. There's work to be done for both these teams as we head to the middle part of the Big East regular season schedule. Panthers no problem here, but they have some work to do in the next week as they'll make a trip to Louisville and then they'll come home to play Syracuse. Blue Demons will walk it up, trailing 78-41. You saw that move by Taylor. That's a hedge where he cuts off the guy outside and retreats to find his man.
And again, John, we're watching DePaul. They struggled today to score against Pittsburgh's half-court man-to-man defense. They just don't allow you to get into gaps and get a solid look, and that'll be a charge right there.
Here we go against Young. And that's the first foul for Brandon Young, who is one of 2 players in double figures now. For DePaul, he has 10. Off the bench, Moses Morgan with 11.
And DePaul, as this season progresses, they're going to have to find a way to score in the half court. When their pressure fails them or when they're not able to force those turnovers, they're going to still have to be able to execute and score. Because they're going to be teams where you run up against like Pittsburgh who take care of the basketball, and you can't get those easy run-outs and little putbacks.
Well, that's what St. John's did a week ago against DePaul. They got a lot of run-outs, a lot of layups, and then a late push got the Blue Demons back in it with a couple of minutes left. On the way to the basket, the foul is called on Pittsburgh. It'll be the first on Dante Taylor. Donovan Kirk set to return to the lineup. Kirk with just 1 basket so far tonight. It was a 3-pointer. Adams will check back in for Pittsburgh as we approach 8 minutes remaining here in the second half.
I'm very impressed by this Oakland Zoo crowd. I mean, this game is well in hand. They're still raucous behind us. They're still yelling at the free throw line. They're enjoying their time, enjoying this blowout that they have here.
Well, let's face it, they have not been involved in that many blowouts in the Big East this year.
They're jumping for joy right now, huh? Celebration.
7 points for Melvin. Right to Adams. He didn't even look at the basket that time. Zana is fouled. Pretty good battle inside between Crockett and Zana. And the foul goes on Crockett.
And you're right, Adams didn't look as if he wanted to go up and finish. He's a very unselfish player, almost unselfish to a fault. Guys are different when they come from different countries. You know, American basketball players, I think, a little more aggressive. When you come from overseas, whether it's Europe or New Zealand or some of the other countries, the game is just played a little bit differently.
Well, you were talking about that before the game, the fact that you played overseas and you couldn't believe the difference in the way Europeans approach it and the way Americans approach it.
Even in the weight room. I remember being in the weight room and we were on the bench press, myself and a friend of mine, and the European players are looking at us like, hey, why are you guys benching so much weight? You don't use your chest muscles in basketball. Everything was very efficient in the way they attacked the weight room. And they were right. When you use your chest muscles in basketball, not much.
When you're pushing yourself up off the floor. Here's Young outside. Now he'll shoot a 3, and it nestles in the net. So Young with his first 3-pointer of the afternoon, 13 on the game. 78-45, 7.5 to go. Here's Wright. Stops at midcourt. Waits for help. Gets it from Patterson. Adams. Jump hook, bends home.
He has the skill level. I think he has to get a little more aggression in him. But you can see the skills offensively, defensively. He doesn't have I don't think he has a foul in this ballgame.
He does not. You're right. He has 9 points now, and he has a dozen rebounds. Nice drive, but not able to finish that time as the ball is tapped out of bounds. Robinson could not finish, but the Panthers have pretty much finished off DePaul with plenty of time left. The Panthers on a roll. Zana and Pittsburgh leading 80-45. The Mario brothers are in the house. It's 80-45. The Panthers led 53-30 at halftime, and they have done nothing to take away from that lead. And that first half spurt certainly was led by Trey Ziegler.
Yeah, Ziegler did a great job in the first half. You see him able to finish, getting some rebounds, making small little plays in that first half. Really, DePaul never recovered, and Ziegler did a phenomenal job. Look at his numbers. 10 points, 4 rebounds so far, 2 assists.
Oh, Adams missed the dunk that time. And of course, that is our Papa John's player of the game. Ziegler, the newcomer to the Pittsburgh program, and a good feed underneath. Speaking of Trey Ziegler, he's got a dozen points, just one away from his career high of 13. He had a 33-point game for Central Michigan.
And Adams just tried to hammer that one home on the other end. That's the type of aggression you want to see.
Numbers for Pittsburgh. Patterson off the glass too strong. Weak side Zana was there, but couldn't put it back.
Oh, nice. Oh,
he didn't get the roll.
They call that $1 million move, 5-cent shot.
3-on-1, Patterson finished. 15 for Patterson, so he continues his high scoring in recent games. He was kind of sluggish in the first half, had only 4, but he's got 11 in the second half.
And they're going to need Patterson to be a consistent scorer for them, especially with the type of schedule they have coming up.
Oh, leave it for Zana.
Unselfish play right there.
That's what you would have done, right? Give it up to your team.
Oh, yeah, I would have given it up to Howard Brown or somebody that could fly back in the day when I was playing.
86-45. This is almost unbelievable, John.
Yeah, well,
short jumper is good that time. Off the bench to score the points is Clemens. His first basket on the afternoon. Still 5 minutes to go. And as you pointed out, for Jamie Dixon, there are no walk-ons to put in this game.
Yeah, so you have to continue to play your guys. You just hope no injuries, and you just try to continue to execute and do some of the things that can help you later on in the season.
Nice drive by Ziegler. He's got 14. That is his high as a Panther.
You know, Ziegler, he averaged 16 points and 6.1 rebounds at Central Michigan. Son of a coach. You see right here, a little floater.
Oh, that's a great shot, isn't it?
Off the window.
So Ziegler back to the line. Robinson checks back for Woodall. Back on is Charles McKinney for the Blue Demons. The Blue Demons will fall to 10-9, 1-5 in Big East play. Ziegler with 15 points. Our Papa John's player of the game is not disappointed this afternoon. Edwin McGee controlled the dribble. The jump hook was too hard. Loose rebound, scramble for it. And finally, it was Johnson keeping it alive for Robinson. This is Ziegler outside. Down the lane, pulls up. Foul will go against Pittsburgh. And I think Ziegler's going to pick it up. Yep. It's his third.
Again, John, you saw on the other end just DePaul, their inability to score in the half court. And when the game, you know, when they can't dictate that pace, stealing the basketball, you don't really have the pieces outside of Melvin and Young to really score in the half court. No real three-point shooters, guys on the wing that could slash and get to the rim and make plays.
Montre Clemens, redshirt freshman from Baltimore. The line. All 3 of his points have come in the second half, but it's been very disappointing for the guy on the left.
Yeah, you expected Melvin really to come out here and have a better game, and sometimes that happens. You know, you go on the road and you go up against a team which is a very solid defensive team in Pittsburgh. But there are always other games, And it's about how you bounce back. And in the Big East Conference, you don't have time to feel sorry for yourself, John. Huh?
No, you don't. As
Sit
a matter
and
of fact, they'll be playing St. John's for the second time in 3 games.
Yeah. You can't get too high or too low. And how about Pittsburgh? You get a win today, and then on Monday, you're going right on out there and play a Louisville squad who just lost today. So right there, somewhat of a dunk.
Semi-dunk. But the danger was in no, the backboard was in no danger on that one. Taylor lost it. DePaul comes back. Foul on the rebound.
And you see multiple times here, DePaul just not able to finish.
Today's Big East basketball game has been brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you.
We are back.
See right now, the DePaul Blue Demons trying to finish this game on the wrong end of a very tough loss today here. Pittsburgh, always a very tough team on the defensive end in the half court. DePaul just trying to figure some things out. As Taylor misses the first free throw right there.
That is his first miss from the line.
And you see the long faces for DePaul. A very tough loss. And I've been on a few of these losses in my career. You will remember some of those tough ones, but you have to be able to bounce back.
Still 3 minutes to go in the game.
Donald on the wing. You see on the wing trying to figure out a way in the half court. Pittsburgh does a great job with the double teams on the big guys. And front court, the freshman Ziegler tries to take it all the way to the rim, and he'll finish it. Ziegler, he's done a phenomenal job here today.
Well, certainly his best game as a Panther.
Yes. I'm very impressed with the way he's played and the depth that they have. The Pittsburgh Panthers, they can come 10 deep. They can bring guys at you in waves. And DePaul on the wrong end of that today. Ziegler passes over to the wing, and Wright's had a great day as well. Little fadeaway action by Moore to no avail.
Well, they don't need much.
Yeah. And again, DePaul's going to have to figure out some ways to bring in some more talent, especially in the Chicago area. I can see the turnover right there by Jordan Price. And right now, my partner John Sanders, excuse me, taking down a few halls to try to get his voice back. And now take over some of the play-by-play duties. Never understood how hard this was. I got the easy job, John.
No, I don't think so.
I have the easy job. Lots of our viewers don't understand how much work goes into the preparation to be able to know the players and the statistics. But again, DePaul, at some point, you need that talent. As a nice move right there.
That was Reichbosch.
By Reichbosch, yeah. Out of Chicago himself. But they're going to have to bring some of that talent out of the Chicago area. I think the Chicago area, John, one of the best areas in the country for high school basketball. You throw in New Jersey and Philadelphia, the Los Angeles area as well. And that Chicago area has produced many players in their day. DePaul's going to have to tap into that, whether they're in the Big East or the Catholic 7 or whatever happens in the near future.
Ziegler now with 17 points.
Make that 18, John. And again, out of high school, Ziegler, he had offers from Duke, Michigan, Michigan State, Central Michigan, which is where he ended up.
That's because his dad was coaching there.
Yeah. But now has an opportunity to show his talents at a higher level. You see the Big East standings right there. Pitt will move up to third place now. Obviously, DePaul will drop down at the bottom with USF. And you never know what's going to happen in that middle. Villanova has been very impressive. I have been lost for words with their ability to knock off some top 10 teams.
Well, back-to-back wins over Louisville and Syracuse. That is impressive.
And those are two teams that really, you would think for Villanova will be tough, because Villanova, they turn the basketball over at the highest rate in the Big East Conference. And you're talking about Louisville and Syracuse, two teams that force you into miscues. And Pittsburgh will walk away with another victory, but they'll turn right around, John, on Monday and have to take on the Louisville Cardinal team coming off a loss, and they'll be very angry. But again, they pressure the basketball just like DePaul, so we'll see if Pitt can withstand that pressure again.
A very impressive performance by Pittsburgh here this afternoon. What else can you say, John? They were outstanding.
Yeah, they were outstanding on the glass. They did a great job taking care of the basketball against a DePaul team who pressure you and try to, get you to play ugly basketball. But Pitt, obviously one of the best teams in the country with their assist-to-turnover ratio.
Panthers never really headed in this game this afternoon. They won it going away. They were up at halftime, and they finished with a very strong performance at home.
Did a great job. Pittsburgh Panthers get the W.
For John Celestin, I'm John Sanders. So long from the Peterson Event Center. Pittsburgh wins it.